Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Baron here. Now, I am going to do kind of an analysis and review of the Focke-Wulf 190A-5, which is a level 11 German aircraft. And I'm going to first start with giving you some basic statistics on the plane that are on its stat sheet. Then I'm going to talk about and some historical context related to the aircraft. Then I am going to go over comparing it to various planes in the game, and this is going to be based off planes that that the Focke-Wulf 190 was meant to combat, and those that later were able to better it. And then I'm going to kind of give my opinion on like the play style of this plane, and granted that is skewed based off of my personal play style, so keep that in mind. And then finally I'm going to give you my opinion on this aircraft. So let's start out. The basic stats of this aircraft are: it has decent hitting power. It's got two 20mm cannons and two 7.92mm machine guns, which give it a 3.01 kilogram per second burst. And this is pretty decent. Its max speed is 607 kilometers per hour, which at level 11 is not. It's not very great, actually, in my opinion. And it has a climbing rate of 14 meters a second, which also at level 11 I would say is not that great. And finally, it has a 24.1 second turn time, but I feel like the turning in this plane is just terrible. Like when you turn, I feel like you just bleed off so much speed, and you need speed to stay alive with this aircraft, but I'll get more into that later. So now let's talk about the history of this aircraft. Now this is the Focke-Wulf 190A-5, and this plane, the 190s, were out since 1941. So these were very early war aircraft, and the Germans enjoyed air superiority in most of their theaters of war early on in the war, until the Allies were able to basically develop their own planes to combat the superiority of the Bf-109s and the Focke-Wulf 190s. I would make an argument that since this is the lower version, the A5 is one of the earlier and I guess more inferior models of the Focke-Wulf 190. That level 11, I don't know, is necessarily the best place for an early war aircraft. And by early war, I mean, we'll get into that a little later. That should be where the opinions come in. But let's get to the history, some cool stuff. So the A5 was able to basically outmatch the Spitfire Mark V. Now, when you look at this game, War Thunder, we have the Spitfire Mark V-B, which is a level 8 plane. So this plane, the Focke-Wulf, is supposed to be able to beat that. But if you look at this, and it's level 11. Now, when you look at the level 8 Spitfire Mark V-B, what do you notice? Well, the Spitfire Mark V-B can outturn, it can outclimb, and it can outshoot in terms of better firepower than the Focke-Wulf 190A-5, which is level 11. And historically, that was a plane this one was supposed to easily outmatch. Now, it could be because it's the Mark V-B. I'm not really sure. And then it wasn't until the Spitfire Mark IX came out, which Gaijin has at level 10, that the Focke-Wulf 190 needed to start to be changed and further developed in order to basically combat that, because the Mark IX Spitfire was able to outclimb, outturn, and outshoot the Focke-Wulf 190A-5, which in this game is accurate. So both the Spitfire Mark V-B and the Spitfire Mark IX can both outclimb, outturn, and outshoot a plane that is 3 and 1 levels their superior respectively. So that's kind of nuts to think about. Basically my opinion is this plane should not be at level 11. Now you'll notice in this gameplay, quick little interlude, I'm sticking back, covering the ships. I feel like you have to do that because if someone gets on your 6, it is nearly impossible. Like, if someone's on my 6, I feel like my lifespan drops down to less than 30 seconds in this aircraft because I cannot maneuver. And I'm more of a dogfighter, so granted, my playstyle affects my opinion on this aircraft. Keep that in mind. So historically, the 190A-5 or A models were not good at high altitudes, and the BF-109 was considered superior. And you can kind of see that reflected in the climbing rate first of all, and then better plane performance. I'm wondering if that is noticeable in arcade mode. If anyone has noticed that, please feel free to chime in the comments section. But this plane was considered a medium altitude fighter, and in this game I should be higher, but really it's either high altitude or low altitude. No one seems to really fight in the middle. So if you want to get kills, you got to find the targets basically. Now, what is cool about the Focke-Wulf 190 is that there were 3 very notable German fighter aces in World War II that flew these. And the first of which is Erich Rudorfer. Now, he got 222 victories, and he fought in all the theaters that the Germans fought in during World War II. And some of his notable accomplishments was he took down 58 Sturmovix, the IL-2s, the flying tanks, the fear of German tankers everywhere. And he also sank a British submarine, so that was pretty cool. The second ace is Walter Novotny, or Volta, if you want to be, I guess, a little more accurate. He had 258 victories, and most of them were in the Focke-Wulf 190. But he also flew in the BF-109. A lot of these aces started in the BF-109 and then were transitioned to later models of the Focke-Wulf 190. I'd wonder if they would have been able to do it in the early A models. And Walter Novotny also flew the Me-262 and got 3 aerial kills with that. And then finally, we have Otto Kittel. Now, this guy was a beast. He is he has the 4th most air kills or victories in aviation history. He started with the BF-109 and then moved to the Focke-Wulf 190. And he only had 39 kills in his BF-109s prior to going to the Focke-Wulfs. And he shot down so many IL-2 Sturmovix in World War II that the Russians nicknamed him the Butcher Killer, because the Germans nicknamed, or someone nicknamed the Sturmovik the Butcher, because it would just tear tanks apart, or that was its renown. And unfortunately, Otto Kittel was killed in action by, of all things, ladies and gentlemen, the rear gunner in an IL-2 Sturmovik. So, that sucks, huh? Now I'm going to kind of get into the opinions in these last final minutes. I feel like the playstyle of this, I feel like I play like a shark when I'm in this. You kind of have to find an unsuspecting victim, jump on them, take your bite, and if your bite isn't big enough to kill them, you have to fly away and come back for another bite. Now, in arcade mode, that's difficult. This aircraft may be better catered towards historical battles, but what's going to happen is just heartbreaking. I get 5 kills, and I get hunted down by a certain aircraft, which is certain model of aircraft, which is rather notorious in my opinion. But basically, my opinion is this: the Focke-Wulf 190 is a great aircraft, but the A5 should not be a level 11. If anything gets on your 6, you are done. You're just straight up dead. And there's certain aircrafts which can basically outfly everything, and they are known as the Yaks. And we will see one very shortly, and it broke my heart because I thought I was going to be a fighter ace with one of the hardest aircraft, in my personal opinion, to fly, because I'm a dogfighter. So basically, in my opinion, you need the upgrades. You need the armor-piercing tracer upgrades for your machine guns, And you need the air target upgrade for your cannons, or you won't really be able to have much takedown power. You need those modifiers. It shouldn't be a level 11 in my opinion. It's a very tough aircraft to play for dogfighter style. And, I mean, you look at the Yaks can outfly it, and the Spitfires Mark 5 and Mark 10. So I'm Baron, thanks for watching. Oh, my cannons weren't ready.